Chat. Chat, what's up? Chat. It's time. It's today. I'm unwell. Well, I was literally sobbing brushing my teeth last night, and I just feel like we should all just acknowledge sometimes when you're sad and you're crying and it's bedtime and you gotta go to sleep and you gotta brush your teeth, it's okay to cry while you brush your teeth. Okay? I don't know who needs to hear this. It's probably me. But if you're like me, this is my fun bird fact of the day. It's okay to cry while brushing your teeth, everybody. And it might mean you need help. And you should get that help. But, like, good on you for brushing your teeth, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you should be proud of yourself. This is a new segment, right? Where at the start of every Homestuck, I give you a little life tip. Here's my life tip today. If you're crying, don't not brush your teeth. Congratulate yourself for brushing your teeth while you're crying. Let yourself cry. You know, you probably need it. But also brush your teeth. And then you can look back and you'll be like, wow, I still have not broken my teeth brushing streak. I love my dental hygiene. Your dentist can give you a thumbs up. And you can have a lot of self-respect for that. Anyways, let's get into the Homestuck action. Let's grip it and rip it. Ready? Are you ready for this? That was me ripping into a Dr. Pepper. Today's episode is sponsored by Dr. Pepper. Get your cavities while they're hot. I don't know. I'm in a weird energy. I'm in a weird space, probably because of the toothbrushing fiasco. But we're just going to roll with it and we're going to read some Homestuck because that's what matters. Also, there's somehow more Homestuck news since the last part I did this, which is that they're re-releasing the Homestuck website to recreate the update culture. And of course, everybody on the Homestuck Reddit is mad about it or something. Everybody just hates themselves and Homestuck, and they hate themselves for liking Homestuck. Not everybody is like that. Obviously, it's just parts of the internet, but that's the vibe that I get. And so I steer clear away from that. But I'm enjoying Homestuck. I'm enjoying reading Homestuck. So here we go. As a quick recap, John, Dave, and Rose are all fucking around in their houses, and that's what's happening. We've learned that John has got to climb and build up to the first gate in the medium, and Dave is still trying to get Rose into the game because Rose's forest is gonna burn down or whatever. So here we are between Rose and John. Nana said to build, so that's what I'm doing. Oh, yeah, okay. But this sure is going to take a lot of grist. Looks like you're going to be busy, John. Blarg. Well, what are you building? Stairs. They're fairly expensive, actually. Oh, man. I could have warned you about stairs, Rose. Hilarious. Rose also thinks it's hilarious. I told you, dog. I told you about the stairs. Rose says, I'll try recouping some of the grist from the catwalk I built earlier. It keeps happening! Ah, good. Looks like I can get a refund for earlier allocations. I told you, Rose. I told you about stairs. Okay, consider me fully briefed on the matter of stairs. Now, if you don't mind, it's hard enough to concentrate on this without immersing ourselves in Strider's non sequitur. Did you know he thinks puppets are cool? Does he? He's so dumb! This is great. It's the kids doing exactly what Hasi wanted, which is referencing their own in-joke, which he invented in canon. And if you didn't read the like if you didn't click on that hyperlink and read the Sweet Brown Hella Jeff Dave Strider comic about stairs, then you'd be like, what the fuck are they talking about? But we did, so we all know. I told you about the stairs. Rose, use build grist to construct observation tower on the roof. Okay, you obviously don't have enough grist yet for something that ambitious, but you can get started with something of a foundation for upward construction at least. And she spends the rest of their grist to build a little platform. John, check cabinets for imps or useful items. No imps in here, just a lot of shaving cream. Dads love shaving. It's basically all they do. When they're not baking, that is. John, bring 2 cans of shaving cream. Alright, it's got some shaving cream and ejects the telescope out and through the window. You capsulog 2 cans of shaving cream just in case. You'll never know when you need to bust out a hilarious shaving cream Santa beard to ratchet up your prankster's gambit. Your telescope goes flying out the window. John, ride the pogo ride. It's a little cramped in here for any sort of proper reckless pogoing. You'll just grab it and hang on to it until the right moment presents itself. And ejects the towel. The towel floats back down to the rack. The circle of stupidity is complete. Rose, check up on Nanaquin. See what's cooking. Now from Rose's perspective, we see Nanaquin is baking a bunch of cookies, and there's just also an imp there, I guess. Oh, the imp is taking a cookie. Oh, Nanaquin. Oh! Nanaquin obliterated the imp. John, make your way to the study. Dude, I wish I had a laser beam. John is pissed. These imps are more pissed. It looks like the imps have taken a shining to the Cruxtruder. Cruxite and black goo. Everywhere. John, ride Slimer Pogo and one-up that imp. Well, okay, it's not a Slimer Pogo, but you mount it anyway and brandish your deadly armaments. John, ride your steed to victory. Hey. He's just literally Mario Goomba stomping these fools. This is incredibly dangerous. John, flip the fuck out. Let's see how they like the old double-barrel lather blaster. Whoops, oh shit. John takes himself out. Mr. John, respectfully ask that you please stand up. John stands up. Okay, the prompts have changed. We're not doing John prompts anymore. Now we're back to the getting the WV prompts, the Wayward Vagabond prompts. John is now threatening the Pogo. Don't move or the Pogo gets it! These are great animations. I really enjoy these. Now, sir boy, flee from this boorish rabble post-haste. John does a sick wall flip. Nice abscond, dude. Oh. Rose crushes an imp with the fridge and blocks the hallway. Refrigerator. Level up for slaying the imp. The refrigerator skyrockets up the echelon to a new rung, 5-star General Electric, and earns 285 boon dollars. Things are really looking up for this feisty appliance. Well done, John. Well, what was my Wayward Vagabond voice? Well, before he was in all caps, so something has changed. So this is, well done, John. Polite congratulations. For some reason, you feel a sense of positive reinforcement. Wherever that feeling is coming from, it sure is a welcome change from your erratic moods earlier. Now, my civil fellow, I have a well-mannered query to ask. I blocked the entrance. This is Rose talking to John. I blocked the entrance to the study to give you some space to work with the Design X. John, imp's behind you. Should I take care of it? You trapped your PDA again, didn't you? Why did you have to pick up all that stupid shaving cream? So pointless. Rose, drop something heavy on one of these imps. Also, I love that John's just like this vague, dumb, vacant face, just staring at nothing, not noticing all these imps. Rose takes a safe and smashes it on one of the imps. John. Oh, through the roof. I didn't realize that part of the animation. Oh, and the safe cracks open, and there's a Colonel Sassacres in there. That's interesting. Huh? Next page. John, might I bother you for a can opener? Oblivious to the commotion behind you, suddenly you find yourself pondering the whereabouts of a can opener. You think there probably is one in the kitchen, but the path is blocked by your refrigerator. John is completely unresponsive. What the hell is that nincompoop doing? Years in the future. But let's not get totally carried away here. A studious eye darts about a page like a honeybee, gathering the nectar of wisdom. So now we're here on Wayward Vagabond, and he's reading the book on human etiquette that he had unlocked previously, if you remember that. If you don't, I just reminded you. And he's learning about typical human manners. Please, thank you. You are welcome. Good day. How do you do? Splendid. And you? Gratification. Further courtesy, favor is mutually curried. And, he's learning the knowledge, and he's eating the pages. Elixir, known as tea, absurd vestigial fourth digit, is cantilevered? Absurd vestigial fourth digit is cantilevered. I guess they only have 3 fingers. I didn't notice that. And humans have 4, and so they're like, oh, that's weird. Everyone is polite. He's gonna rip this page, gonna eat that. And he's gaining the knowledge. And who knows, I mean, I bet you he's just reading it, and that's how he's learning, and then he's eating it anyways, but I like to think that he learns through literally eating it, but that's not actually what's happening. Next page. Oh, yay! More of this! Oh, and look at all these images. Wow. Alright, so we're back to Rose's Game Facts walkthrough. Appendix 3, Screen Captures, Part 1. I can't take as many as I'd like to for comprehensive documentation. For what it's worth, here's what I managed to collect so far. More captures forthcoming. The sprite. Co-player John assesses environment after transition to medium, followed by sprite sans kernel, prototyped once pre-hatch. Completely useless in this form. Severed from suburban grid, house remains mysteriously powered. Convenience presumably facilitated by game, which perhaps deems navigating a powerless house to be a handicap less in keeping with spirit of game's principal statement of challenge. And these are screenshots from the game that we played, only now they have Rose's like player overlay. I don't know if you noticed that. Not all of these are, but this one definitely is. And that one definitely is. So this is the third one. Internet connection remains stable as well. Will likely remain stable until the internet itself is compromised by some external threat. Something like, oh, let's say hackers. Hackers? Maybe trolls, perhaps? Perhaps? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Kill monsters, get grist, build onto the house. That's the game. Didn't know what the point of this was at the time. Floundering, trial and error on exhibit. Unsuccessful attempt at Tier 2 prototyping. Knowing what I know now, I might have avoided using a back-breaking Vade mechum for practical jokesters, rife with antiquated lexicon and racist aphorisms. Either that, or I might have tried harder to succeed. I guess she's referring to Colonel Sassacres. Trying to use Colonel Sassacres' text. I guess is vaguely racist. Okay. See, so Hussey, I guess here's the thing. Rose is just like a shithead, right? Like she's all polite or whatever in like her style of speech, but she like earlier she was like she made that kind of racist comment, and then this time she's like, oh, I would have avoided using racist aphorisms, or I might have tried harder. Not saying that Rose is racist, but I do think that she's just kind of like a shithead and is like that just kind of like contrarian personality. Whatever. We don't need to get into our headcanons here. A 413 weirdo. Co-player has displayed inexplicably capricious behavior since arrival. Stress-related? Contracted virus indigenous to realm? It should be noticed he was kind of a weird guy anyway. Rose thinks John's a weird guy. Rough. It's rough, John. It's rough. But this is also when he was freaking out from Wayward Vagabond, who is now like giving him prompts, which he only started doing once John entered the medium. So that's, I think, a part of John's like issue. In addition to just being the way he is. DesignX deployed. Still no clue what this does. At mercy of co-players' foolish prioritization tendencies. Man, she is not sparing John one bit. Grist payload from slain foe. Whether I deal damage or the co-player does, yield is the same. Though I have a significant advantage in battle, taking measures to my own hands deprives John of hand-to-hand combat experience, which ostensibly will become more critical later. So, like, you can help out, but also you want to be getting that XP yourself, so to speak. Building, the point. Building upward. The point sharpened and directed. I like that. Ah, steeds, steeds, what steeds? Has the whirlwind a home in your manes? Is there a sensitive ear, alert as a flame in your every fiber? Hearing the familiar song from above, all in one accord, you strain your bronze chests and hooves barely touching the ground, turn into straight lines, cleaving the air, and all inspired by God it rushes on. Classic Rose waxing poetic, specifically about horses, which... if you'll remember, she got the pony from the ironic, sarcastic pony from her mom. Ponies and horses are a whole thing. Yeah, I have no idea what the fuck he's doing here. Is John having a hard time? 413 Barbasol Bandit? 413 really? Another one of these things? Really, Egbert family? Really? Right, okay, so this is what I pointed out earlier, that inside the safe is a really messed up looking Colonel Sassacre's text. And that is relevant. But we'll find out later how. A view of his kidnapped father's room. I can't see in here for some reason. Perhaps this is because John himself has never entered the room. It is not possible that I can see only, in a sense, what John can see. It is possible that I can see only, in a sense, what John can see, or has seen already. I have not found the time to discuss this with him yet. If he enters the room, the question may answer itself. So there's this weird phenomenon going on where, like, even though Rose has this sort of, like, God's point of view, like, third-person point of view of whatever is going on, and she can see things that are happening that John can't. For instance, Nana Sprite baking the cookies, which John wasn't in that room. If he hasn't been there before, or like if there's some other kind of fuckery going on, like the construct of the game itself, which Rose is using on her client, prevents her from seeing something. So just, the rules are made up, right? Like if you try to, like, it's genius, right? Whatever. Like there's a lot of ideas going on here and there's a lot of consistency, but really at the end of the day, it's all made up and it's just for narrative purposes. And like, ooh, what's going on in Dad's room? We don't know. Ooh. Rose, construct loft above John's room. All right, we're back in action. All right, we're getting the copy and pasting, the chimney. The structural integrity of this doesn't make any sense, but that's fine. All right, we make another loft. Here we go. Rose is gonna, oh, she made a ladder. Yeah, she's kind of sick with it. Ladders seem to be a bit cheaper than stairs. Fellow John, it appears we have reached an impasse. Yes, it seems so. The opener dilemma remains unsettled, most unfortunately. Oh, poor Wayward Vagabond. It is unfortunate, I guess. Oh, sorry, wrong. The narrator. It is unfortunate, I guess. What are we talking about again? Even the narrator's confused. This isn't even John or Wayward Vagabond. This is just Homestuck itself. Here's Wayward Vagabond. But it has been a pleasure nonetheless. Thanks for the courtesy. It's not really necessary, but thanks anyway. This is also so ambiguous because, like, is this John talking? Doesn't really matter. But just another stylistic thing. Oh, but thank you. Okay. Thank you so very, very much, dear favorable small primate. Rose is trying to get his attention. Dave's trying to get his attention. John is all freaking out about so much courtesy. Rose is screaming. I shall take my leave now, John. Until next time. Wait, where did all this sweet loot come from? And why is there suddenly a crumpled hat on your head? John, gather grist, examine Designix. Feeling especially economical with your behavior suddenly, you scoop up all the grist in the room and turn your attention to the punch Designix all in one fell swoop. The device features a countertop station design with a keyboard setup, not unlike an old-fashioned computer. There is a blinking red light and a diagram etched into a panel. If you flip over a card and you type something in, you can put the card in the thing. Rose, answer Dave. Alright, now Dave and Rose are talking. Okay, wait. Hold on. Why am I getting this stupid game for you? You're the one who should be wrist deep in puppet ass. What is the specific problem? The problem is I'm up to my goddamn neck in fucking puppet dong. You know you like the mannequin dick. Accept it. I am enrobed in chafing, wriggling, god-fucking-damned puppet pelvis. An obscenely long, coarse Kermit cock is being dragged across my anguished face. Let's put this into perspective. You put up with a puppet prostate because you love it. And also, coarse is a good word. You don't seem to harbor any sympathy for the fact that I've burrowed fuck deep into lively, fluffy Muppet buttock. I'm whirling in the terrible cyclone at the epicenter of my own personal holocaust of twitching foam noses. It's like a fucking apocalypse of perky proboscis in here. Like the proboscalypse, I guess. Are you going to start rapping about this? What? No, listen. Prong of flesh, bereft of home, found solace twixt a cleft of foam. No, oh Jesus. Of apocalypse your thoughts eclipse, a painted pair of parted lips, that dare through kiss to stir the air, that teases tufts of orange hair, and though faces flush in lovers' fits, hands snug in plush as gloves befit. Okay, Dickinson, if you can shut your perfumey trap for half a second. This is serious. I'm just saying, if I see one more soft, bulbous bottom being like kind of jutting out and impudent or whatever, I'm gonna fly off the handle. I'm gonna do some sort of acrobatic fucking pirouette off the handle and win like a medal or some shit. Then let's hope there will be a squishy derriere somewhere below the handle to break your fall. I love this dialogue. This is iconic. This is iconic, Dave. This is iconic, Dave. He's like, oh, I'm so cool. I'm cool with this. This is cool. My bro's cool. And then he's like, oh my fucking god, I hate it. The do a pirouette off the handle. This is peak Dave Strider right here. This line. I love that line. I'm gonna do a sort of acrobatic fucking pirouette off the handle. John, observe back of the first visible capture log card. You flip over the top card containing your pogo ride. Anytime you capture log something, a new code appears on the back of the card. You've always wondered what the code was for. Damn, these things are really hard to read. But then, you've never really found any reason to decipher them. Until now, perhaps? Captcha log card. And so now we got the captchas. This isn't, oh man, that's so crazy. We don't even use these anymore on the internet. Like, this is like not even a thing. But in 2009, which is, oh, we actually just passed my birthday in the, we're at August 22nd, 2009 at this point in the story. Captcha logs, captcha, whatever. These trying to have to read these codes. That was all the jam. And now we have to like click pictures or solve literal puzzles to prove that we're not an AI or something. John, examine reverse side of hammer card in Strife Specibus. Looks like cards from your Strife deck have codes too. John, enter the captcha code as seen on the back of the Pogo Ride card. You enter the code DQMMJLEK into the keyboard. At least you think that's what the code is. The red light switches off. A green light begins blinking. John, insert the card. It's punched the card now. John, type in NZ7UN6BI. And he punches the hammer card. In the interest of due diligence, you enter the other code and repeat the process with that card too. Both cards are now punched with different hole patterns. John, attempt to retrieve Pogo from card. Oh, well that should just be a simple matter of... Uh-oh. It looks like it's trapped now. You don't see how you can access the item anymore, or store a new item there for that matter. And these cards are pretty much useless now, and the items they contain are toast. But maybe all is not lost. Recalling from your experience with the pre-punched card, you may be able to use the cards to replicate the items in question, assuming you got the codes right, that is. John, mash keys heedlessly. Not quite through with your cowboy empiricism just yet. You mash at the keyboard to generate a random code. You enter DSKJHSDK. The Design X stops you after 8 characters, which appears to be the maximum length for a code. The green light goes on, signaling its readiness for a card. You figure you might as well burn the shaving cream since the product is not exactly at a premium in your household. You also figure you might as well merge the 2 cans onto one card. You're a little sad that your dad isn't around for this. You have a feeling he would get a real kick out of the idea of duplicating more shaving cream. You punch the card with a pattern that is in no way related to the code for the item it contains. This should make for an interesting experiment. Mad science is a lot of fun. Also, interesting how he could just combine items into the same card. Like, was he only able to do that because they were both shaving creams, so you can store a group of items in the same card? But also previously, he'd picked up all the shards of glasses in different cards. Could he have combined all the shards of glass into the same card? Unclear, and they never specify, and it doesn't matter. But it is something fun to think about whenever I think about, like, what are the actual systems in SBurb and Homestuck? Because, like, it's not just SBurb, right? Like, John had the capture log cards before he was in the medium, but also whether or not SBurb exists before that point is something that we will get into down the line. Unfortunately, you just burned another card in the process. Your deck is really dwindling now. Maybe you should have thought this through a little better. On the plus side, you just freed up your PDA, which is overflowing with the pent-up chatter of anxious pesterers. Oh, there's an imp looking in the window. This isn't a flash. The imp is looking over his shoulder at a mysterious shadow. And a bathtub smashes through the wall. John freaks out. Bathtub goes into the other room. John, answer your chums. Dave says, "Puppets! Awesome! That's really all there is to say on the matter." Turntech Godhead changed his mood to rancorous. Rose, John, I'm about to throw a bathtub through your wall. Watch out. Oh, Dave. I wonder why Dave is able to be more genuine with Rose than he is with John. Interesting. That's interesting. John, talking with Rose. Wow, that was so totally unnecessary. I made a shortcut upstairs. I thought it would be a good idea to get up there and try the cards as soon as possible. Also, you weren't being terribly responsive. You mean these stairs? Man, look at all these shitty stairs. They're so narrow. How am I supposed to climb? I'm supposed to climb those? They're perfectly navigable. I'm saving on grist for now. If you keep slaying foes, collecting grist, and expanding the cash limit, we may not need to be so economical with our resources in the future. A little foreshadowing. John, looking up through the wall at the first gate. John, so why didn't you just build a way up through that hole into my dad's room? Have you ever been in there? No. Exactly. Huh? I'd rather not get sidetracked. I'm more interested in further exploring the mechanics of the game than watching you discover what sort of outlandish Harlequin decor your father keeps in his room. Oh, come on. What's the big deal? I'll just climb up and go right through. Will you? Yeah, why not? Are you saying you've never wondered what's in there? Or why it's been kept a secret from you? Well, I mean, yeah. Then trust me, you won't be going right on through. Wait, are you saying there's something, like, troubling in there? I don't know. What do you mean? What do you see in there? I can't see in there. Oh, but I don't have a very good feeling about it. Pfft, whatever. I think I can handle a few more stupid clown paintings. This is a little bit of a prelude into Rose's archetype later on. That's so far in the future, but like this moment is very indicative of Rose's like role and MO in the whole story. Rose, move punched cards to John's room. Rose, drag some Cruxite dowels up to John's room. John, collect grist, examine safe. You swoop up the bountiful supply of grist generated by our co-player's recent exploits. From now on, it will probably go without saying that you'll nab any grist lying around without making a big fuss over it. This is just a way of saying we're never going to mention specifically collecting grist again, which is hilarious, right? Because they set up like the expectation of like, oh, there's this resource that now you have to collect, and then they just do away with that by just saying like, oh yeah, we're just going to do that forever from here on out, and so then it never becomes really important again. You check out the busted safe, which has made a noble sacrifice in battle. Some of your father's odds and ends have spilled out, including some old newspaper clippings and 2 rather hefty tomes. It's a fair bet that these books comprised at least half the weight of the safe. The hefty tomes. John, examine Family Tome of Humor. It's another copy of Colonel Sassacre's daunting text of magical frivolity and practical japery. This one looks really old, perhaps an original printing. Could it be the same one involved with your grandmother's unfortunate accident on that fateful day? Dad would never speak a word about it, but maybe Nana wouldn't be so tight-lipped? You give it a cursory perusal. It appears to be similar to your reprinting, listing all of the japes and chicanery you have come to know and love. You captchalogue it, thinking you may give it a closer look later. John, examine contents of safe. The Fatherly Gent's Shaving Almanac. You take a look at this other book. You're sure Dad thought this was a scintillating read, but it looks pretty boring to you. Maybe you'll crack into it someday when you're old enough to shave. Everything in this safe was obviously very important to your father. You wonder why he kept it locked away from you. Some things about him you will never understand. The Common Hornographer. Space rocks knock local burbs block off. Populace oblivious to broader significance of events, assuming there is any, which there definitely isn't. Shortly after 4 a.m. today, a downpour of meteors in a residential neighborhood became yet another instance in a pattern of recent rocky cosmological phenomena. The incident, aside from property damage and loss of life, was downplayed by authorities as not all that big of a deal. Meteors! So, Crocker facility leveled. Monday, April 13th. That's also very interesting. So, on Monday, April 13th, sometime in the 1990s, if you look at that digit, this meteor landed in a local suburb, which is a clipping that John's dad has. It seems he has been collecting scraps from the news over the years. These articles go back decades. John, look at the piece of paper taped to the wall. Son, if you are reading this, it means you are now strong enough to lift the safe. You are now a man. As such, you are entitled to what is inside. I know you will take this responsibility seriously. I am so proud of you. John's dad. Aww. So, we'll come back to this. I have thoughts about this. My impression here, right, in this note, is that John's dad genuinely tried his best to be a good dad. That's my thought here, based on that note. John, turn the card over. 024913. You guess this is the combination to the safe. This is completely useless. Thanks. John, examine back of capture log card on floor. 0000000. You guess these are all zeros? Or are they capital O's? Zeros would probably make more sense for an empty card, do you think? Capture log the card. Oh, and we ejected the dowel. John, enter code on back of card into DesignX. 111111 is the capture logged card of a capture card. John, punch card. Look at that. And now we're pestering. Rose says, wait, John, before you punch that... Oh, I was about to say, if you first took note of the card, then removed the card from the card, you could have punched the blank one. You would have only burned one card instead of two. Oh yeah, you're right. Damn it. So, this is a part of Homestuck that, like, barely matters, but I'm obsessed with. I love this idea of, like, figuring out the coding process to be like, oh, like, every item in existence has this, like, CAPTCHA code associated with it when I put it in a card, and then I can, like, figure out what that code is, and then I can print it on the card to figure out what to do with it. It's so good. John, throw hat down in disgust. He threw a hat out the window, or out the wall. John, capture log punched, capture logged, capture log card. Oh, ejects the PDA, and Rose catches it. For the consistency, but also then we don't have to do all that. What? Rose catches it. Sweet catch. John, take PDA. The two cards Silodex. Inventory of dumbasses. The Colonel Sassacres kills that imp. John, level up! He's leveled up to pesky urchin. I guess we skipped over the champ fry thing, and now we have 740 boon dollars. That's fun. There's a peacock feather in our hat. Colonel Sassacres, level up for slaying the imp. The Colonel soars to new heights on his echelon, reaching the rung, one-man julep vacuum, and pockets 9,550 boon dollars. Chump change for the genteel, aristocratic Southern Colonel. Bathtub, level up for slaying the imp. The bathtub surges heroically and surpasses the rung, Archimedes Aqua Cradle, proceeding directly to vaunted rung, Taft Jammer. The tub makes off with a cool 490 boon dollars. The tub's basin capacity remains unaffected. Safe. Level up for slaying the imp. We're just leveling up all the... The safe was slain in battle. A great flaming nautical pyre carries it off to Valhalla. This is just some good old-fashioned bidding. John, make your way up those stairs. Post haste. You're not sure. They look pretty precarious to you. But you've been assured the stairs are perfectly navigable. Lad, scramble! John freaks out, almost falling off, because they're like one single panel. They're very not wide. But also the perspective makes it really hard to tell how wide they are. Lousy goddamn stupid stairs! Uh-oh. Who's this? This is a big guy. Okay, now we're hopping over to Dave's perspective. Love that dude. Ignore Lil Cal and find the beta. You wander over to the place where your bro keeps his sweet turntable gear. Man, that setup is sweet. You feel pangs of jealousy whenever you walk by it. Really cool jealousy, though. Like the kind where instead of getting all worked up about it, you don't actually give a shit. One of your brother's rad and extremely expensive ninja swords is missing, though. You know this drill all too well. Trouble's a-brewin'. Dave, take expensive ninja sword. What sword? Oh! Who grabbed that? Dave, exit your bro's room. You approach the exit. There's something on the door that you haven't seen before. Looks like one of your bro's ironic comics he left for you to check out. Oh! And then somebody teleported the little cowl over here. Not really teleported, but like flash stepped. Oh, God. What have I done? Animal, please start breathing. Oh, God, please breathe. Haha, okay. Make believe time is over. Oh God, oh God, oh God. What will Nanny do to me if she finds out? No one can ever know. I have to hide the body, but where? Think, imagination. Ugh, the one time I really need you. Click. Hello, Ralph. I want to play a game. I want to play a game. To play. So this is a Saw comic, and apparently, as with fucking everything in Homestuck at this point, this is also a reference to thing that Hussey was doing on some forum where they were like going back and forth collaborating on these like ironic comics where somebody else was doing a Saw thing and Hussey was engaging with them and like multiple levels of irony deep. In any case, that's some of the background. I don't know much about it. And Dave just rips it up. Okay, some of this stuff you know he's just leaving around to get under your skin. This is obviously another ploy in his relentless siege of one-upsmanship to get your goat. The same goat you've been meaning to bleat like, ironically, but that will still have to wait for a more appropriate time. You think he knows that deep down you feel like you're still not ironic enough to get stuff like this. And this is probably some weird gauntlet he's throwing down to see if you will get it. But honestly, you think this material is just a little too ironic. You just don't need to see this shit right now. Dave, good for you. Dave, go into the kitchen. No sign of bro in here either. Well, aside from the absurd quantity of awesome, dangerous stuff he leaves lying around. Dave, transfer katana to Strife Specibus. With an escalating sense of threat, you think it's time you shift 9, your katana 9, to your Strife Specibus. You figure it's better to free up the card anyway, since you might need to grab some of this stuff. This part of the mechanic is so wild. Like, Dave has to be thinking in the narration, but also like these are like Dave's thoughts kind of, but it's also the narration, but also it's like how Dave is using the narration to be able to interact with his own inventory. It's just such a funny like and needless mechanic that they set up in the writing of this to make things happen. That's so interesting. Dave, set blender to mix. You guess bro stuck some fake blood capsules in that puppet? Pretty gross. Oh, there's a puppet inside the blender and Dave just kills it. Okay. So there's this Saw puppet that has a camera eye. You spot one of your bro's many webcams nearby, recording the incident. It seems like you may have just unwittingly been an unwitting accessory to some sort of grisly puppet snuff film. You're not totally sure how you feel about that. This is one of those moments that the fandom really, really analyzes in like some of the central themes, particularly for Dave and Bro's relationship, but also just like the comic as a whole. And Saw is relevant. Everything's relevant. I can't explain why now. We'll just have to keep going. Dave is pissed, and he cuts the webcam in half and gets a sweet glint on his cool sunglasses. Dave, capture log Buster Sword from behind microwave. This might be the only thing in the whole apartment that's a bigger piece of shit than your own sword. You put it back behind the microwave, where it belongs. Dave, set blender to crush ice. It's just sort of bouncing around in there. You're making a bit of a mess now. Dave, hide evidence in microwave. He tries to do that, but there's already a bunch of puppets in there. See, like, his hobbies are cool and all, and you guess he's got to put his shit somewhere, but what if you wanted to heat up a burrito or something? This kitchen is pretty much useless. Dave, grab those fireworks. You capture log all the fireworks. 5. The sink has to offer. You just know these are gonna come in handy. Why would they be in the sink if they weren't? Looks like one of them is still stuck in the garbage disposal. Dave, capture log shurikens. This is just so wildly dangerous. You grab the shurikens and, hey, careful when you're putting stuff in there, especially if you're looking to turn your Silodex into a powder keg full of sharp things. You put the box of fireworks, which if you name it something different now, it has a different number, which then means you can put it in a different card, back into card 5 and prepare to start or card 3, apparently. That settles that, you guess. Dave, take nunchaku. You take the nunchaku, 3, and once again, grabbing without thinking ahead. First, you capture like the box, 5, again, while adeptly avoiding the shuriken trap, which you yourself set only moments ago. Dude dodge. You again round up all the fireworks. Time to regroup here. Capture log each shuriken individually. You grab each shuriken one at a time, knocking out those nunchaku. But no worries, you've got a plan. Capture log nunchucks. You take the nunchucks, which is 6, as opposed to nunchaku, which was 3 previously, and everything seems to be in order now. It would have been badass to go with the authentic Japanese names for each weapon, but sometimes you've got to compromise with this modus. Dave, examine the fetch modus. You flip over your fetch modus and check out the back. You're not really sure where it is you're keeping this thing. Oh well, who cares? Dave, press eject button. Oh hell no. Not after all that trouble you went through to get that stuff situated. This is potentially a very dangerous button. Eject all items from the Sylladex? Dave, change to Scrabble points hash modus. So we can change the hash function of the letters, but changing the function will also eject everything in your Sylladex. First, you program your modus with a Scrabble points hash function, adding it to the list. I'm not going to read out all the Scrabble points. It's the Scrabble points. This might be a cool function to use, but it looks like you'll have to empty your Sylladex to select it. You're just not going to do that yet. No way. Dave, check the box, detect collisions. Okay. So now it won't eject stuff automatically if you say the wrong thing. Dave, take the skateboard. Just what is this guy so happy about? What's he looking at up there? You think if you see one more soft, bulbous bottom being like kind of jutting out and impudent or whatever, you're gonna fly off the handle. And the narration text takes on Dave's typing quirk. Next arrow. And Dave cuts this dude's nose off. Puts him in the sink. Dave has had enough. You take the skateboard. 6. Actually, no you don't. A collision has been detected. You take the wheeled ride. 7. Man, your inventory's nomenclature is getting lamer by the minute. Dave, capture log the unplugged power cord. You take the power cord. 5. Wait, no, not going to work. Dave, think of a new word for power cord. You take the battery pack. 8. Damn it. You take the battery pack? But, wait. Oh. You take the battery pack 9 using the Y as a consonant, and your Sylladex reluctantly accepts. It's a tactic notoriously employed by hashmap noobs, but you just don't care about that now. Besides, it's not like your bro's around to see. Or is he? Look. Oh, there's a shadow. There's a shadow. Oh! Dave notices. Ah! He's frightened by Cal. Dave, search for some mad snacks, yo. Oh, it was just little Cal again. You can never stay mad at him. Anyways, you gotta figure that you've gotta get this way rude hunger under control. You figure you ought to scope the fridge for some grub. This hunger is so ill-mannered, it would make a room full of snooty dowagers commit mass suicide. Oh my god. Dave, open refrigerator. Oh god, more shitty swords. Of course you knew these were in here. You're not even sure why you looked. If you want to keep any food or beverages in this apartment, you've pretty much got no choice but to hide stuff away in your closet. So his whole kitchen is just completely non-functional, and there's no food in the house. That's relevant to internet commentary later. Dave, take swords. The hell with it. You try to take the entire jumble of unbelievably shitty swords and brace yourself for... Looks like that works, actually. 2. You capture log the jumble of unbelievably shitty swords. Dave, use the ice maker. It's still hot around here. You dispense several cherry bombs. He's just surrounded by weapons at all times. Wait. Who's that looking at you in the reflection? Huh. Where'd that little dude scamper off to this time? Dave, capture log the cherry bombs. You go for the cherry bombs unsuccessfully. After mulling it over a bit, you take the red spherical salutes. Dave, take blender. Blender is a pretty simple word, and you can already tell that's not going to work. Instead, you take the whirling blade pitcher. That's really a much better name for it anyways, you think. Dave, activate the garbage disposal. Dave, stuff down Mr. Purple Guy into the garbage disposal. You're still not sure what he's so happy about, or what he's looking at up there. While you're at it, you dump the contents of the blender, the whirling blade pitcher, into the disposal, but you suffer an unfortunate garbage disposal head jam. You notice something in the reflection. Something above you. Dave, look up. Hello, Dave. It's got the jigsaw reference, because that's Bro's MO, I guess. But like quasi-ironically. But also the kind of ironic, like where you're doing it so ironically that you just wrap around to just, you're still doing it. It's the hatch to the crawl space above your apartment. Bro's always tucking away in there when he's busting out his rad stealth stunts. He's so slick that dangling cord never even jostles. You just know he's being ironic with these weird mind games. There's no way anyone could be serious about apping those shitty movies. Aping? I don't know what that word is. I've never seen that word. Dave, use the turntables and cinder blocks to make a fort. It's a pretty sweet fort you just made, and you're pretty sure your brother would agree. Under different circumstances, you might be high-fiving over it right now. But rather than get inside and take it for a spin, you really just need to use it to get up to that hatch. Dave, yank cord. It's time to face your destiny. No going back now. It's more puppets. Oh no. No, Dave. The slow-mo suffering. And a big pile of puppets crushes Dave. Yeah, there was pretty much no way there wasn't going to be a bunch of puppets in there. He's pissed. And now we get from Dave's perspective the conversation that he had with Rose earlier. And as is tradition, I'm probably not going to fully read the whole thing, but this is why he's freaking out about being whirling in the terrible cyclone at the epicenter of my own personal holocaust of twitching foam noses. It's like fucking apocalypse of Perky Proboscis in here. And then he's going to fly off the handle. Dave, read the note on the hatch. Bro, roof, now, bring Cal. We're doing it, man. We're making this happen. So now, Bro is referencing Dave's comic. Different part of the comic, though. Dave, burst out of the puppet pile like the one. Shing, 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 shing. Ah! Dave, be the other guy. You are now the other guy. So Dave is finally getting in action. Getting in gear, maybe, I guess. John, take the dowels and sheets from bed and make a tent. This is so much fun. A huge waste of time, yes, but so much fun. Oh, I guess Rose has no patience for that. And she dumps it off the side of the building. This feels like such a jump between these two panels. It's not even an animation. That's crazy. John, carve a totem of the punched pogo card. You put the punched card containing the pogo ride in the slot and carve a totem from one of the Cruxite dowels. John, repeat process with the other cards and dowels. You remember this one. He already did it in Act 1. You use the card containing the code for the hammer, as well as the one with the random code you punch over the shaving cream card just for the hell of it. You carve the respective totems out of the cards. John, do the same thing with captcha-log card. You make a totem for the captcha-log card. Pretty bare bones looking totem, if you ask you. Rose, collect the totems. You stow the totems in your anthemium, or atheneum, and we can see the costs and grists of each item. Rose, produce the captcha-log card. Oh, The alchemitter requires 1 unit of any type of grist to produce 1 card. You decide to use shale, since it seems less generally useful than build grist as of right now, and you make a whole bunch of them. John has solved the inventory problem. Whoa, did you make all these? Well, I guess Rose actually solved it, and they did it together. Yes. Sweet, thanks. What did you do with all the blue wobbly vase-looking things? I brought the totems out to the alchemitter to test them. I'm taking some things into my own hands to save some time. Okay. You create the hammer at the expense of 2 units of build grist. You make a pogo ride too. -5 build, 1 shale. You use the totem carved with the random code. You create a rocket pack with some random crap stuck inside of it. Looks like a cinder block, a violin, and a flower pot. The items have rendered the device completely inoperable. So the random thing is just like a bunch of random stuff. You figure you might as well put this piece of junk to use. And she starts smashing people with it. John, collect the cards. Using a little strategy, first you grab Harry Anderson's Wise Guy by Mike Cavaney, then the cards, then your ejected PDA, then the book again to flush the cards into your deck. Nice going. And now he's got all of his slots back. Yay! John, turn on Detect Collisions. You flip your fetch modi, but find no such option. This is idiotic. John, read book. Be the wise guy. And yes, I'm gonna read this. Why would you even think that? Why would you even ask? Harry Anderson, Wise Guy. From the Street to the Screen by Mike Cavaney. An introduction. Who's this wise guy? Blood lost in the Big Easy. New Orleans, 1977. The close-up room at the Magic Castle was this mean little box that tended to fill up with so much smoke you'd swear somebody was cremating a wet dog in there. In walks Anderson. There isn't much that gets liquor to pause its journey from the table to my lips, but I'll be the bastard love child of a listless octoroon if that kid wasn't the cat that swallowed the canary in a dapper little hat. It looked like he was testing the tensile strength of his suspenders to damn near limit with a pair of cocky thumbs. I wasn't impressed, but I was a fool. Somehow, in my motion for another beverage, he'd already slipped into polite conversation at a table held down by some notoriously brusque regulars. He had them in no time flat. They were melting butter in his glass ramekins. Whatever tidy yarn he'd spun to win them over, I didn't catch a word of it. One of them laughed. I was angry. Envious? Maybe a little. Yeah, you bet I was. Anderson had one of those little wooden finger choppers that Mickey Hades used to sell. The kind where the blade could be removed and clearly shown. It was a very convincing little guillotine that did not look like a novelty store toy. Harry would get a guy to examine the chopper and then cut a cigarette in half. Then he'd held the guy's hand up and told this silly story. The story, of course, was artifice, a distraction for the guy in the audience while he worked his stuff with the chopper. Or it would become that, once his famous chopper trick was perfected, vaulting into fame, fortune, and the crowning position in the television judiciary. With what became his signature aplomb, Anderson was in moments in front of a breast pocket gauze profuse apology and redoubling determination. It's really amazing how hard it is to find a bloody sausage-sized piece of a guy on the floor of a room that dark and smoky. Impossible. I think we all proved. Just as impossible as blind Willie Buttermilk Stubbs was going to find it to work his trumpet tomorrow night without his twiddling fingers. Harry and I never speak anymore. I don't understand this joke. Yeah, I'm sure it's a thing with Andrew Hussey, but they're whatever. I don't care. This one's like probably one of the least relevant bits. You never really understood what Cavaney's relation to Anderson was, or why he wrote this book about him. His ambivalent attitude towards your favorite magician in these anecdotes always struck you as a little weird, and to be honest, you tend not to read much of the text in the book. You mostly like to look at the diagrams for all the cool tricks. Like a hole in the ace, aka the a-hole trick. Oh my god, am I going to read this too? Yeah, I am. I'm going to read it because I'm committed. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? I'm committed to my art. Okay. Here is a perfect example of how Harry could ruin several decks of cards, waste everyone's valuable time, and have you love him for it. He was good at that. One day, he noisily emptied his suit jacket pocket onto the hood of his car in search of change for the meter. A clunky metal thing slid from the pile and bounced on the sidewalk. As I retrieved it for him, I asked what he was doing with a hole puncher in his pocket. His face lit up at the question, like he was an elf. And I wait, I'm sorry, what? Like he was an elf? And I asked him how he felt about climbing into the hollow of a big tree to bake some cookies or something. The 2-foot 6-inch height differential between us causes these comparisons to enter my mind. I guess Harry Anderson's a very, very short man. A small crowd had already gathered around even before he produced the first pack of unmolested cards. How people seem to gather and how they even know a street performance is about to take place, I'll never know. It's perhaps Anderson's greatest trick, luring the marks like that. I love that idea. I wanted to ask if he was sure about this, performing in broad daylight. He was used to working in dark rooms. It was usually the first thing out of his mouth when he would queer a trick. Queer a trick? I'm really more accustomed to working in a darker room than this. But Harry was excited, and had already butchered the first deck of cards with the hole puncher, and issued the first round of apologies to the crowd. These were like the primer apologies, the sort that got the folks loosened up a bit before the 7-course meal of ingratiation that would inevitably follow. He asked me for a fresh deck of cards, and I gave him one. The principle behind the trick, in theory, as he explained to me later, was to punch holes in what appeared to be one card, but was in fact 2 or more together. Hence the difficulty he often had in squeezing the puncher with his little elfish hands. Then, using some coy maneuvers with his thumb, temporarily concealing the hole while he slid the card beneath it with his palm, the hole would seem to disappear or move to another part of the card. Well, that's kind of interesting. Oh yeah, that's right. The old hole in the ace trick. Interestingly enough, pertaining to punching holes in cards and making them disappear and stuff. Your hands were never really strong enough to make this one work all that well either. But actually, this gives you an idea. Oh, I'm glad we read it. Because this is how John got the idea, and I never understood that. He looks at the 2 cards and combines them. You overlap 2 of the punched cards. They mask each other's hole patterns. John, put both cards in the totem lathe. You carve another totem using the new combined hole pattern. John, take it to the alchemitter. Oh man, looks like Rose made 1,000,000 hammers for some reason. Get all this shit out of the way. You're about to make something sweet. Next arrow. Bum bum! The pogo hammer! You got the pogo hammer! Let's go! John is so hyped. John, practice with the new weapon. Boing, 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 boing. Oh, the imp is sad. Rose, what did you do? I combined the cards in the lathe thingy and made this. It is so sweet. Man, look at me go. I see. That was a really good idea, John. Nice work. Thanks. I got the idea from Harry Anderson. Who? You know the show Night Court? No. Oh. Well, bottom line is, he's awesome. That's really all there is to say on the matter. John, attack the nearest imp to test the pogo hammer's strength. You get a vicious rhythmic bouncing combo going and easily slay the imp in one blow. You and the pogo ride are catapulted sky high in the process. The pogo hammer moves, flies over there, lands on a tree. And Rose catches John on the bed of the roof. Oh, something big crawled into the house. Pogo hammer, tree, tire swing. There's another big thing that's climbing. Rose, pester John. Hey, that was a pretty, nice, sweet catch. Save. Oh, yeah. That. This is pretty comfy. Why don't you just, like, carry the bed around with me on it? Up to the gate up there. I can't interact with you directly or anything that you are touching if it will result in moving you. See? Oh, lame. The game probably regards that as a kind of cheating. In a way, thieving you of your free will as an adventurer, and the need to advance by your own skill and ingenuity. The server player is just a facilitator. Well, okay. All that scurrying around kind of wore me out. I think I'm going to rest here for a bit. Rose, can you keep the imps at bay? Like, drop some stuff on them if they sneak too close? No. You should pick up your hammer and defend yourself. What? Come on. I have no idea what the hell Dave is up to, or if he's any closer to recovering the game. There's some stuff I'd like to try, in case he doesn't come through. Oh, alright. I'm just gonna rest my eyes here for a second, though. Flash animation. John, sleep. And John falls asleep, and that is where we'll end this part, as I too must go off to sleep, even though it's the middle of the day. Big news here, everybody. This is the first track from Toby Fox. That's right. You know him, you love him. Toby Radiation Fox is here in Homestuck for the first time and is going to make a hell of a ruckus for the next 7 years of this comic. And still to this day. Because apparently he's voice acting John in the new animated pilot that's coming out on YouTube. And that's where we'll wrap it up. So thanks for viewing. Hopefully all my commentary helped make sense of all this. We're all the way up to 644. That's a big deal. And we'll pick it up next time with, I guess, Rose trying to get into the game still. Can you believe we're already 644 pages in? We're almost at 1,000. That's a big deal, right? That's like going to be like 1/8 of the way. But not yet. Not yet at all. Right now we're like 1/16 of the way there. All right, well, it's been real. Good work. I'll see you next time.